Can you talk about like how much the budget that you had?
Yeah, we was like the low six figures range, so roughly a couple $100,000, which, when I first wrote the script, I had planned on doing it for like 40 or 50. And then the 40 or 50 was like, oh, okay, maybe like 60 or 70. And then 60 or 70 was like, oh, maybe 100. And then 100 was like, well, maybe 150. So it kept elevating.
In the middle of development to production?
Yes,
Gotcha.
yeah. And so then we landed around like a couple hundred. And then it was that thing of I'm working all these years and I'm kind of like saving up. And it's one of those things where it's like, do I invest my money in like Bitcoin? Do I like buy a house? Or do I make a movie? And I think any filmmaker, when they get the opportunity to make a movie, they're going to make the movie, you know? So that is what ended up happening. So I fully financed the film out of pocket.
Out of pocket.
Yeah.
How much of it was liquid, in kind, and deferred?
It was all liquid.
All liquid. Gotcha.
It's all real money until we got...
No crowdfund or outside finance?
No. I was considering doing a crowdfunding, and I've produced projects that have done successful crowdfunding campaigns. I don't know. Thought crossed my mind. I considered doing like a crowdfunding, but I didn't. I was in talks with some people about financing or assisting with financing, but anybody who's ever gotten money from anybody else, there's so much of a process to it, and I just was like, I don't want to go through this process.
And you feel that way even now? I mean, obviously that was your first feature.
Honestly, no independent filmmaker want to go through the process of going out to get the money. We all want to get the money, but the process in itself is challenging. It could be frustrating. It could be exhausting. It could be all these things that don't feel great. So at the time, because I didn't have to wait on anybody, I chose not to. And honestly, I still feel that way. But the best thing that I think could have happened was this film made enough money where I could have made another film and like keep going, or somebody would be super interested in just giving me money to like make a movie, because I think any independent filmmaker knows you're in great shape when you ask somebody for some money and they're like, yes, or people are showing up to like, hey, I got some money, like, you want to do something? Like, that's the dream. But
and obviously the strings attached to some of the people that say yes or have money, right? Like that's even its own. Yeah, it's
definitely its own thing. It's a challenge for sure. Yeah, I didn't do any crowdfunding or anything like that. I just went for it because that's what I'm accustomed as a filmmaker, which is prior to doing Welcome Mat, all the short films I've ever done, I've self-financed, and then the short films that I've done since, or whatever type of projects that I've done, I've also financed as well. And, in school, they say, hey, don't use your own money and all that jazz, but they don't tell you what to do if you don't get the other money. I mean, I feel like if no one give you money to make films, then it's like, and you don't use your own, then you don't make films.
You don't become a filmmaker.